Diversity is something that encompasses acceptance and respect. It's just basically understanding and getting along with other cultures, beliefs, different values, ways of thinking, being a part of and accepting those different aspects of other people and bringing them into your own belief system.
There's diversity in every situation.
We all want to fit in, and we all want to be different.
You can come from two different, lifestyles. If you want the same thing, you're going to be friends.
Oh, they thought that, and I thought this. Let's bring it together. There's a diversity of thought.
It makes you come together, and that diversity, it doesn't matter because we become unified.
Honestly, diversity is a resource that not many schools have.
I am unique in a way that I not only possess one powerful culture, which is African American, but I'm also Puerto Rican. My Sweet 15, which is also called Quinceañera, it's a celebration, a Latin traditional celebration when a young girl turns 15 years old. I learned that it's important to keep family and culture and your traditions because you can learn so much from it and you can come out with experiences that you'll be able to talk about for a lifetime. The ceremony is what changed me from a young girl to a young woman. I hope that people will try to go out and learn about their culture and become accustomed to them because, whether you are familiar with them or not, it's important to still know. You can always learn from your culture and from other people's cultures, and you can see similarities and differences in them, and you can even have a life-lasting experience with it.
I'm a firstborn, first generation here in the U.S. That's had a big influence on me because my parents have always instilled, we have to keep our culture, we have to keep our heritage, we have to be true to our roots. It's been difficult for them to Americanize because it's oh, well, in El Salvador you do this. Here, we don't. It's been a pressure to set an example, to embrace your background, your culture. You're born here, but you're still not accepted as American because you have a different background. And you go to whatever country you're from, and you're not accepted because you weren't born there, because you weren't raised there. Growing up, it was I'm not talking in Spanish with my Spanish friends because we all speak English. But I've always been interested in other cultures, other languages. Everybody says, oh, I love other food, I love other cultures, I love learning about but you don't see them, reaching out and, trying to learn. When I first started college, I was, just in and out of my classes, going, home or going to work. My schedule was so work, school, or school, work, home, and homework. I would see all these organizations and I said, wow, that looks kind of fun, but I wasn't going out of my way to go. One day I see a kiosk for HSA, Hispanic Student Association. I just thought it was so awesome, all these kids that are, Hispanic, but they were all born here. Just to know that I shared that with them, that the experience of trying to be accepted within that society and then being accepted in the American society.
I would introduce myself to people as I'm Egyptian, and then and then of course it's hey, your name is my name is Andrew. And they're well, what's your real name? Did you change it because you live in America, so make it easier for Americans? I'm no, I'm Christian. That was prior to January 25th. It was really, really eye-opening. This is something that needed to happen, that revolution, and watching the videos, seeing people that are in the streets, yelling at their fellow Egyptians to get on the streets. We don't care what your race is, what color you is, what religion you are. We want you. You are Egyptian. You're equal. This is our country. Since then, I've dropped the Christian off of it because it doesn't even matter anymore. The Christian population in Egypt varies between 10 to 15% depending on who you talk to. I'm not even Orthodox. I'm Protestant, which is in the other minority. One of my very good friends, when I first met her, I go, my name's Andrew, and she's oh, Andrew, what's your real name? I'm I'm Christian. She's oh, okay. They're Christian in Egypt? I didn't know we had those there. One, you're ignorant. She's my best friend nowadays, by the way, just in case, for the record. I felt so excluded. We really are treated as second-class citizens in Egypt. We don't really get our rights. We'd never get a high-ranking position. I have been before pissed off just because of the fact that I was excluded, because, you know, people didn't like me. They call me different names, things like that, all of which I've gotten over. And I would usually vent to my parents, like why this, why that, you know, why did we come to this country, etc., etc., etc. That probably was part of my problem, was because of the fact that I'd never stand up for myself. I did go to a Christian school. I found people that are very, very similar to my beliefs, my faith. Being in that community really, you know, yeah, sure, sheltered me, but it helped me also show me that being angry about something isn't going to really solve anything. You know, you're numbed. You're just flat out numbed to whatever happens to you, whether there's discrimination because of my color, because of my race, because of my religion, because of stereotypes.
I was born an immigrant in the sense that I was born in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, and Chennai is a land of pretty much Tamil-speaking people. But the thing is, ethnically, whatever that means in India, I'm actually Telugu, which is another South Indian language. My family actually moved from a Telugu-speaking portion of India to Tamil Nadu. So when I was born itself, I was not speaking my mother tongue, per se. From India, when I was 6, I moved to Singapore. Singapore, I definitely fit in more with the Tamil crowd because I could speak Tamil. I really like to actually attend Chinese classes randomly. Not many Indian students did that, or Malay students. They were just happy with their own social group. And then that continued as a trend when I left Singapore for Jersey. I was totally pissed. I did not like the fact that I was losing my friends, my soccer team, everything. And I felt pretty much like a fob, fresh off the boat. Before I came to America, my friends in Singapore and we would sit around and watch a TV show called Clueless. My friends would be like, oh my god, Minu, Americans are gonna be really mean to you. They're very stupid. All of them have yellow hair. They walk into walls. It's terrible. Which was totally smashed because I met this girl named Laura Varillo. She totally broke my stereotype of Americans. Those 2 years in Jersey stripped me away of any national identity I would ever have. Each step I've taken, I've gotten more and more accepting. You can easily go the other way. The minus side is just that wherever you go is just you don't completely click. When I say they accepted me as that girl from Singapore versus, hey, let's get to know her as a person. I just accepted that fact. I was comfortable being in the peripheral. I really wish that somebody will be here with me to help me get adjusted more. But then I started realizing that, you know, that person is me. That didn't mean that I wasn't going to stop helping other people adjust.
First off, I'm a half Hispanic twin who lived in a Hispanic neighborhood but didn't know any Spanish. Everyone was kind of distant from me because I couldn't communicate with them except for when I went to school. The way our parents raised us was they were very caring towards my sister, but sort of not very caring towards me because I had to pay my own parents' rent when I was going through high school. I had to, you know, find work and I had to get a lot of responsibility that, you know, I'm seeing my sister really doesn't have because she never had to work for it. You know, when Steve died, my triplet brother, there wasn't really anyone left at home for me to relate to. And that's when I fully decided to go out into the world, to get jobs, to go out and have fun. I did things that a lot of people wouldn't do. You know, I started, you know, free running, climbing random things, went to a lot of raves. Some weren't good, some were troublesome. It made me become more independent and was kind of the defining moment that made me sort of leave the teat of my parents and go out into my own. People who come from good families were very upset about how their family was. Some people who even were sort of getting stuff bought from them thought that instead of having love, their family was sort of buying their love. A couple times I blew up. Because of the way my father is, I had learned to bottle up my emotions up. Real men don't cry. Keep it inside. Eventually, you learn it's okay to talk with anybody about anything. It really made it easier to relate and talk about things when there were people who had actually been through something similar. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're trying to deal with stuff on your own, it's, damn the world, I've got my own problems. Now that I've solved a lot of those problems, a lot of my shoulders that were filled with my own problems have been emptied, so I can shoulder other people's problems. I can help them out.